if you look at any videos in relation to overcoming women's objections or the friend zone thing, a lot of the time they're talking about you should walk away. And a lot of this comes from a place of thinking that you are kind of putting yourself on a pedestal a little bit. You have value. Your value should be recognized by the other person. We are attributing fault that the other person seems to fail to recognize our value. And at the same time, we claim, or these people who say this stuff, that you should walk away, they claim that you are doing this out of your own self-respect. However, now I have actually done this myself, and did this actually get you the result that you wanted? As I just posted in my last video, rejection is merely an obstacle. Did you try to find a way around the obstacle? Some people are kind of like wishy-washy and pushing a lot, where they're crying and sobbing and they're really hurt, right? Like, it's okay to be a little bit hurt. But if you're like crying in tears, overwhelmingly putting slob on the other person, trying to overcome that rejection, then that's probably not going to help. Like I said in my last video, rejection is an obstacle, and what we need to do is find the way around the obstacle. And this doesn't mean to trespass against someone else's boundaries per se. What it means is just to find some type of resolution to make the thing exist, to make the thing that you desire exist. Because like I said, like a car that has broken down with some engine component, obviously the car requires so many different factors in order for it to exist and function, that if just one of these intricacies, these pieces, parts malfunction, then the whole car is no longer usable. The whole car is kind of worthless. The sum, I suppose, is made up of all the smaller parts. And if just one of those smaller parts is just not working, then it's like, of course we're not going to drive this car. This car ain't going nowhere. And so when there is a rejection, it means that one of the 1,000 parts is broken. And it's possibly that it's a more significant part. Maybe the engine is not working. Maybe the transmission is making a weird noise. If it's like a tire or something, or a cracked windshield, it's something that we can work with. But if it's something major, you need to have pretty significant leverage in order to overcome that obstacle. Now, a lot of people who have less than $5,000, $10,000 in their bank account aren't interested in buying a car that has major mechanical issues. This is normal. That's why it's very common to reject a car in this manner. And so, yeah, relationships are exactly the same when it comes to rejection. I just watched a TikTok video just then where a woman was saying you should put a guy in the friend zone because she wants to see how well he will handle that, how well he will try to overcome that. And I thought that was actually very interesting. I've never heard that before. I've probably seen this video once before, but it never really struck me. And although it's actually super annoying, potentially disrespectful, but interesting nonetheless, it posed an interesting idea of the girl needing to test a man, the girl needing to see the man's resolve. Because how is she supposed to feel safe with the man if he reacts negatively under pressure? How does he respond? And so this is why I might have certain people come back to me when, I don't know, like there's something about me and I can't put my finger on it just yet. But it's just interesting. And I would like to think, I'm not perfect, right? But I would like to think the onus is on my shoulders and that everything that happens is generally my fault, which means that I am in control of whatever it is that I'm doing wrong. So yes, I can understand where the other person's coming from. I can see that they've got maybe some issues. But by focusing on their issues, things that I don't typically have control over, I need to focus more on my issues, my downfalls and shortcomings. I need to fix my car. For me, for example, if I was to have a girl come over to my place, she would probably want to sleep with me when it's just me at the house. Because right now I live with some roommates and family, right? And so it might not be the most attractive place for her to want to come visit me, but I'm not sure yet. That's just an example. That's like a crack in the windshield. I could be in bed, fat and lazy, and all day thinking to myself, man, I'm so valuable. How come she doesn't see my value? I walked away. I showed her that I am the man and that I will be respected. Now, of course, I once lacked self-respect because I noticed that when people disrespected me, that was actually me disrespecting them because I had lacked self-respect. If people disrespect you, it means you lack self-respect. That's how I like to see it. And so what I'm thinking is, rejection is simply an obstacle that needs to be overcome. Just because someone rejects you, yes, they might be saying that you're not worth their time. They might be saying that they don't see you as human enough. And if this is the case, why does this person not see you in that way? Did you fail to present yourself in that way to begin with that would attract them? Is there something that you were doing that made them feel that way towards you? Because if you're so perfect, if you're so excellent, and your value is so high, then how come it just didn't rub off on them? The consequences and the outcomes and the results in which we are experiencing typically are byproducts. This means that they come to you naturally. Because if you're such a stud, then how come all the women are flocking to you? Like in all those YouTube videos that say, do this one technique that'll flip a switch in her brain, and that attracting girls is so easy. And yes, having the belief that attracting girls is easy is important. It's probably very true. Because you know what's also very interesting is that girls also have major challenge times attracting men, especially the right men. There is a shocking amount of women who actually do not put in the effort, the work, to attract a man to begin with. And funnily enough, it's the women who either dress up decently nicely and they kind of sit in the feminine state, I suppose, and they kind of let things happen around them. They let life come to them. And that's such an interesting position to be in, you know? Whereas I'm seeing there's a lot of other women out there who they don't typically dress very nicely. They don't really take care of their health. Sometimes some of these people do end up in relationships who are maybe on the same wavelength as them. But even in Australia, as I see here, there's a lot of Indian women coming over who are already married to an old man, I suppose, and they don't look particularly attractive. They don't really stand out. They're not like a sore thumb or anything. I'm not being judgmental here. I'm just saying they look very average. And this is why I say if you want to get the byproduct, you need to be in a position of effortlessness. And this is why, like having a functioning car, it's very effortless for the car to be in a great position, to be in a great state of being. The car, in its great state of being, just does what it needs to do in a very effortless way. Because if it's forcing something to happen, it's going to more or less malfunction. And this is why things such as rejection happens. So I guess to me, rejection is simply feedback. It's feedback. That's how I see it now. And like I said in my last video, relationships are simply deals. The default position is always generally going to be a no, because if every single moment there was a yes, the universe would literally just explode into chaos. And this is why no is always the default position. And this is why generally women are going to say no as their default mode. It's not that they're trying to be difficult. It's not that they're trying to be hard.